Shabbat Shalom. It's good to be back. Good to see you. The Torah portion this week is Balak. I'll sum it up for you on the off chance you didn't read it in advance of tonight. In short, a pagan sorcerer named Balaam is hired by the Moabite king Balak to curse the Israelites. Balaam agrees, but God thwarts the plan, and instead, Balaam ends up blessing the Israelites. The Torah seems to find this funny. It's not funny, actually. But the Torah doesn't just find it funny, it thinks it's being hilarious. Now, if making fun of a foreign prophet is not your thing for whatever reason, the Torah throws in a talking donkey for extra effect. If that doesn't get you rolling in the aisles, nothing will, I'm sure. Seriously, though, Torah is trying to be funny. It might not work for us, but like all quality comedy, there's a poignant message behind the slapstick biblical fairy tale. Biblical comedy uses opposites and reversals to express itself. Instead of a curse, you get a blessing. Instead of an eloquent and perceptive prophet, you get a tongue-tied man. Instead of a dumb animal, you get an insightful, talking, wise donkey. Instead of powerful Gentiles, you get a powerful God of the Israelites. It's about reversal of expectations, about binary opposites. And wouldn't it be interesting if the world was like this? Black and white, yes or no, like or dislike. Of course, it's not. Do you maybe have a family member you really don't like, but you still really do love? Or maybe you absolutely love your country, but you're frustrated with its government. We know real life is messy and sloppy. It's not about these extremes. It's about the in-between. Our days are not filled with clear-cut choices and polar opposites. Our days are filled with confusing decisions and moral quandaries. Dichotomous thinking is tempting because it simplifies the world, but it's not interesting, and it's not really the Jewish way. Think of any of our biblical characters. They're not sinners, and they're not saints. They're much more human than that. They're like us, full of contradiction, richness, and mystery. I don't have as much life experience as many people in this room. I'm not an expert in the subject matters that many of you are experts in. But still, I've thought a bit about the human condition, and I've studied a lot about Judaism. And I think allowing ourselves to dwell in that in-between space where we're unsure, a little bit mixed, is a service to the self. Take Balak, for instance. If you look beyond the veneer of a silly slapstick story and look at the content, Balak says this: "How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel, like palm groves that stretch out, like gardens beside a river, like aloes planted by Adonai, like cedars beside the water. Their boughs drips with moisture, their roots have abundant water. Their ruler shall rise above, their sovereignty shall be exalted." You might have heard this before. Maybe you recognize it in Hebrew. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu. We say it every Shabbat morning. Remember, Balaam is supposed to be like the village idiot, basically. He's a caricature and a plaything for Adonai. Torah is making fun of him, his powerlessness, his poor skills of perception, of prophecy, and elocution. But at the end of the day, Judaism doesn't mock this silly Gentile prophet. We respect his words. Actually, we do a lot more than respect his words. We've codified them in our sacred prayer books. We've elevated them to a sacred status. His words animate our mouths every week. We are his puppet, and he has been pulling the marionette strings of our mouths for centuries. We recite his speech eagerly and with joy, because his words are beautiful, they're poetic, they convey a sense of awe about the strength of our people. So it's not black and white. Balaam is much more than a silly prophet only. He is also a poet and a creator of prayer. My hope is that we can apply this type of thinking to our own lives, where we don't run to like or dislike, friend or foe, where we can avoid this type of thinking just because it calms our anxiety. My hope is that we can take a page from this little biblical story and know that things are often much more gray than black or white, and that is an okay place to be. Shabbat Shalom.